Welcome to the Northern River Karate School. I'm Ken Reed, Program Director, 7th degree Black Belt. Thank you for joining me today. We're on to part 2 of this overview series. We talked about the big picture in part 1, which I summed up as health in its 3 main types: physical, emotional, spiritual. Let's talk about physical health. Most people come to martial arts practices for lots of reasons, but those reasons always include physical health. We come to martial arts training with determination to do something positive for our physical health. We have lots of other good reasons to choose a martial arts path and to continue on that path, but physical health never drops off that list. I identify 3 main components of physical health: diet, sleep, and movement. Those components are all important, but they are not equally important. By far, the most important element is your diet. In order to get the physical health benefits of martial arts, we need to eat like martial artists. No exercise routine or activity or practice can make up for a less than optimal diet. This is not controversial, by the way, in physical health circles. Even, and maybe especially, the people who are selling exercise know that if they can't convince their clients to change their diets, those clients won't experience much, if any, long-term benefits from whatever movement style they adopt. I experimented with diet for most of my adult life. It has always seemed self-evident to me that diet would be a critical part of any body-centric practice, or anything that involves your body, which is pretty much everything. It surprised me how few people consider diet important enough to think about. It also surprised me that so many people are confident that the diet that they eat is right on the money. Maybe a bit offended that the suggestion that their diet is anything but perfect. I've learned to avoid the subject at social events. I know that diet is worth figuring out, and I also know that it is very unlikely that you are eating well if you haven't already made some significant changes. We live in a culture that is mostly okay with very poor health outcomes. That's our context. So what are the chances that the eating habits of an unhealthy culture would be healthy eating habits? What are the chances that the common dietary wisdom of an unhealthy culture would be actual dietary wisdom? So the science and politics of food, it's a deep well of social justice issues. Don't get me started. Fascinating and important, but let's reserve that discussion for another time, and let's cut to the chase here. My recommendation to you is to make a determination that you are going to figure out for yourself what the best diet for you is, and then eat that way. Please don't go on a diet, whatever that means. If you're interested in learning and training in a martial arts system, then you want to be physically healthy. Physical health begins and almost ends with what and when you eat. Just as an aside, keep in mind that there's no downside to health. Downside to health, it's almost an oxymoron. And please don't play the obsession with health card. Any kind of addictive behavior is unhealthy, even if it's an addiction to being super healthy. That said, it's a very weak argument to say I wouldn't want to get too healthy for fear that I will develop orthorexia nervosa, right? Let's just not go there. To sum up this aside, there's nothing unhealthy about being healthy. There's nothing healthy about being unhealthy. Let's just leave that aside. Also, we're not talking about discipline, and we're not talking about denial. We're talking about pleasure. We're talking about happiness. Scratching the itch of an addiction is a very weak substitute for actual pleasure. Eating a healthy diet is immensely pleasurable in a way that includes, your flavors and all the sensations of food, but also, deeply thrilling for the entire body. It's like Popeye eating a can of spinach. It just feels so good to eat well. Don't tell me that your cigarette or your favorite carbohydrate is doing that for you. It isn't. Like I said, I thought about food for a long time. Eventually I got to a low carbohydrate, high fat diet. And like anything else I've tried, I can't see any reason to stop eating that way. I've been eating this way for a long time now. I'll keep you posted. It could change. Everything's a work in progress, otherwise it's not moving forward. My favorite authors in this realm are Gary Tobes, Eric Berg, and Thomas DeLauer. There's plenty of other good resources. By all means, do your research, but do not wait until you have a PhD in biochemistry before getting your diet in order. Start wherever you want, but get somewhere. It should take you no more than 6 months to get yourself on the positive side of the health equation, meaning that you're getting better, not worse. And so you're in the process of refining your backstroke rather than drowning in the deep end of the pool. Thanks for being here. Enjoy your practice. See you next time.